Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CLX Foundry Live right here on Kick.com. I am your host, DJ BluePDX, and of course, joining me live from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, it's our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and today's master builder, Zack Killingsworth. Hi, guys. What's going on?
Hi.
Hey, what up?
Is it hot? Is it ridiculously hot there as it is here?
It's actually a little better today. Yeah, it's still warm, but
We're going to be
better
in the over 100s today. But I'll tell you what's also over 100. Some of the unlimited codes that you could get for the amazing giveaway that we've partnered up with Atmo once again, and our friends at Star Citizens. Check it out back there. You see the giveaway item, and it is gorgeous. This PC is going to be available as our August giveaway, and the best way Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CLX Foundry Live right here on Kick.com. I am your host, DJ BluePDX, and of course, joining me live from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, it's our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and today's master builder, Zack Killingsworth. Hi, guys. What's going on?
Hi. Hey, what up?
Is it hot? Is it ridiculously hot there as it is here?
It's actually a little better today. Yeah, it's still warm, but
we're going to be
better
in the over 100s today. But I'll tell you what's also over 100. Some of the unlimited codes that you could get for the amazing giveaway that we've partnered up with Atmo once again, and our friends at Star Citizens. Check it out back there. You see the giveaway item, and it is gorgeous. This PC is going to be available as our August giveaway. And the best way to get involved in that is to type !GiveAtmo2 in the chat, and you'll get a link. Follow the instructions on that link, and you can have a chance to win this amazing package, including Thrustmaster bundles, brought to you by Atmo Esports and, of course, our friends at Star Citizens. So, with that being said, you're going to find out and hear codes today in chat, possibly. I'm going to just say you will. But there's codes that we have on all different platforms for so many different reasons. You're going to have to be able to get codes on our social media, possibly. That is YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at CLX Gaming. Our Tuesday shows here on Kick. Our Thursday shows on Twitch at CLX Gaming TV. And our Discord, discord.gg/CLX Gaming. And then on my channels on both Kick and Twitch. So pay attention for those codes. And if they're limited, you've got to be within that first number of people. And there you go. So with that being said, we have a project for Michael in North Carolina. Let's talk about what's going on there.
Yeah, so we kind of got a special order today. Michael has ordered 2 systems, so we're building one here on the main show, and we'll be doing the other one on the after show. So he's got 2 NV7s, so we're going to build the white one on the main show, and then Zach will build the black one on the after show.
Nice.
So going...
All right. This is, again, one of my favorite cases.
Yeah, this thing is great. I really like the white one, but they both look really good, honestly. So going inside this one, we've got an Intel i7-13700KF for our processor. We've got a Phanteks 360 Glacier One for our AIO to cool that. Our memory, we've got 2 sticks of GSkill 32 gigabyte 5600 DDR5 Trident Z. So a total of 64 gigs in the system. For our storage, we've got a 2 terabyte Kingston NVMe M.2 drive and a 1 terabyte Patriot 2.5-inch drive. I don't think we've ever had a 2.5-inch drive on the show. We've always talked about it, so it's nice to be able to see one there. We can show you guys what that's all about. For our video card, we've got an RTX 4070. We've got the gigabyte model. This build does have an ASUS sound card in it.
I noticed that.
Yeah, we don't always see the sound card, so it's nice to have that in here. I think I skipped over our motherboard, honestly, but we've got an ASUS Prime Z690-A. This is the DDR5 version. Obviously, we have DDR5 memory.
Dance 5.
Yeah. So we've got 12 case fans going in this, and a Gamdias 750 watt Kratos 80 plus bronze for our power supply.
Nice. Perfect. Well, so this motherboard is actually pretty cool. But let's talk about some of the features of this case. First of all, this case is one of the first we've ever seen to utilize what we call an angled base design. So this provides a little bit of a different opportunity for airflow in the device. As you can see, that lower panel is at an angle. So what that will do is help bring fresh air in from the back, but then bounce it off that front glass panel and rotate it up so you get a little bit more flow and a little bit better, I would say, dynamic air usage. The one thing that's different, this is a little bit, I'm just jamming to all of Zach's ratchets. There's a lot of, it's a little bit more, I would say, involved when it comes to taking it apart and accessing it.
Yeah, there's a lot more panels that go off on this, and we'll show you guys the back of it once we get there. But basically on the back side here, there's a whole door that covers everything, gives it a really clean look. But it is an extra panel to take off. All the fan trays as well, obviously. But it is a really well-designed case. We've got RGB connections here in the back that we'll show in just a minute. Really, I mean, I guess it's probably been a while since we built one on the show, but we really like this case. Give you guys a little shot of the back there before we get into the motherboard.
Yeah, I just thought it was really ingenious to see how it's laid out and how it's designed. So
I agree.
And we first got our chance to look at these in person at, I would say it was PAX East earlier in the year.
Yeah, that's right. We had that NV7 on display. Zach built that one too. That one was a hit in the booth.
Yeah, those were sick.
Gorgeous. So, by the way, for everybody who's in the chat, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. And if you see any questions or hear any terms that you're just not quite understanding, or if there's a term that you need more explanation on, ask the questions in the chat. We are more than happy to help. If you've got computer building questions, ask these guys. They're smart. So, yeah. We realized I was thumbing the wrong direction. Those guys.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll hop right into our motherboard and get going on that.
Now, this is a fun motherboard that we don't use. We haven't used, I don't think, more than about one time during this entire show. It's a beautiful motherboard. This is an Asus Prime Z690A. Now, this is obviously a socket 1700, but this thing has some really cool features. In that Asus Prime, I would say lineup, that family, remember how we saw that other, I would say, IO shield that had a clear window in it? Well, so does this one.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll
Got
have
that
some
right.
RGB glowing on once we get this power connected to it.
I want to stop building my own PCs. I'm awful at cable management. Damon, listen. I hear you on that one. Definitely hear you on that one.
Yeah, the cable management can be that's definitely the most challenging part of building a PC, honestly, when you're trying to get everything lined up perfect and everything.
So before we get started, let's take a look at that IO shield and see what we've got when it comes to all of our connectivity. Starting up at the very top, we've got our HDMI port and our display port. Down below there, we have 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports. Those are Type A's. And then down below that is a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 as a USB-C. And then there's the Gen 2s for the Type A's, both of them there, plus another standard Gen 2 Type C right below the 2.5 gig LAN port, and then of course you've got your full audio, which we aren't going to be really using because we've got an audio card coming in, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first up, we've got to put something in here to make this board work, and that is going to be our Intel Core i7-13700KF processor. Paul, tell me about this processor.
All right, so like you said, this is an Intel Core i7-13700KF. So that K means that it's unlocked, which means that you can overclock this. And what that F means is it doesn't have onboard video. So those video ports on the motherboard I/O that we just talked about, obviously we're not going to be using those since we have a video card. But this is a 16-core, 24-thread processor, so that's broken down between 8 performance cores with hyperthreading and then 8 efficiency cores. It's got a base speed of 3.4 gigahertz, and it'll boost up to 5.4 as long as your system's demanding it and you have the cooling. I see Damon, no, I have pretty much quit playing Diablo. Kind of sad. Made it through Act 3, and that was kind of it. So we got WoW Hardcore coming out next week, so that's what I will be playing for the next probably 6 months to a year at least.
I'll be honest. I started playing Star Citizen after after our Friday show. Not only did Mr. Terrific come in and throw me a few million, and then George came in, was like, "Here, I gifted you something," because I was looking at things and I honestly fell out of the bed in my ship because it's kind of bugged while it was at light speed and fell out in space. And without my helmet on, and it killed me. So now I always have my helmet on, but George dropped me like 30 million in-game credits. I was like, wait, what?
Ballin'.
I went shopping for some really cool big ships. I finally upgraded one of my ships, got wild guns. It's cool.
Very nice.
That being said, it was so much fun. So right now, Zach is putting in the backplate for our liquid cooler. So Zach, talk to us about this and what this process entails.
Yes, so every heat dissipation source is going to come with a retention kit. You'll just want to use the correct retention kit if you're on an Intel or an AMD, and then if you're on like an AM4, AM5, or 10th gen or 13th gen processor, just want to read the manual, make sure that you're using the right bits because there are a lot of bits, and yeah, that's kind of the best way to do. Just kind of follow the manual, use the right bits, because they your standoffs could vary in height, and so if you accidentally installed a shorter standoff, then you could smush up some stuff that you don't want smushed.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So as for our liquid cooler, we are going to be using a Phanteks Glacier One 360D RGB AIO, and it's a white one. So these are fun. This is what I believe I have in my system.
Yeah, this is a really solid AIO. So we've done a lot of testing on all the coolers that we carry. This Phanteks one is the best one as far as cooling goes by far. It's got a great look too.
Nice.
There goes the thermal paste.
Sorry, touched something on my chair, and all of a sudden now it's wiggling where I don't want it to wiggle.
Ooh.
It's like, this feels awkward. I want the League of Legends MMO to come. Nice.
That's right. I heard about that. Aren't they doing, or do they? Maybe it's already out, but I think League has like a TCG, like a card game out. I think, I think it's digital, but yeah, Riot's doing things. I would definitely try out the League MMO.
I will say Captain Kate was there on, what was it, Sunday when we did it. So I was in my ship, and my ship has a little ship in the background, like that's also mounted in it. And I thought, well, I haven't been in it. I'll just get in the cockpit, right? I had just put my helmet on before doing that, just because Winter was very adamant, like, hey, make sure you do that just in case you fall to space. We are at hyperspeed, and I get into the gunner seat, and I see myself kind of blend through until it populates the ship. And I thought, well, this is cool, but I'm going to get out because I don't want to accidentally fall through the ship. And guess what happened? I fell out of the ship and watched my ship zoom. Thankfully, Winter was on board and runs over and gets in the pilot seat and stops the ship, turns around and comes back to me. And I'm just floating in dead space like, well, this happened again, but this time I didn't die. Again. Oh, my God. It was hilariously perfect.
That's
oh, my God. So yeah, Captain Kate says, wonder if they'll do a shut off thing for the ships if you fall out in Star Citizen like a jet ski. That's actually a brilliant idea. Make it come back to you. And this build is yes. Why not speed it out?
Probably.
Good question.
I think you mean spread it out with a thermal paste.
Oh, got it.
So that's definitely something that you can do, and it's a thing you can do. I don't necessarily think it's necessary, so.
Yeah.
We've done a lot
on
of testing.
servers, that's usually where I will, because the surface area of the processor is so massive that I want to make sure paste, I guarantee paste is everywhere. This I can unscrew and I can show you, and I can guarantee that it's going to be smushed everywhere.
M.2 next. Yeah. Cool.
Nice. All right. So for M.2, and this will be our operating system drive, we're going to be putting in a 2 terabyte Kingston NVMe M.2. Now, this is a solid state drive. It's big. That's 2,000 gigs of space for all your stuff. But what else is cool about M.2 is that the other hard drives in the industry don't quite have. That was to you, Paul.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so the NVMe's are just, like we talked about before, they're just obviously so much faster than a hard disk drive. But before NVMe's came out, there was 2.5-inch drives. So we've talked about that before, but we've never had one. So that's what I've got here in my hand. I'm going to go ahead and take this out so everyone kind of see what we're talking about if you haven't seen these before. The 2.5-inch drives was like the best thing that came out because it was the first SSD. It was the first improvement on the hard disk drive. So this is what we were all using for a long time there, is 2.5-inch drive. So it's still got the SATA connections like your hard disk drive does. But then quickly after this, M.2s came out, and M.2s are just even better than 2.5-inch. So everything's pretty much switched to M.2s, but these are still way fast, these 2.5-inch drives. I think when these were coming out, there was even like some PCIe M.2s, so that was a thing that didn't really catch on, but yeah. Yeah,
and they are fairly cheap. And if you find, like, especially on, if you're looking at things on, like, say, Prime Day sales, you can pick up amazing things. I picked up a Western Digital Black 1 terabyte M.2 for, I think it was $40 or $50. In fact, I think, Zach, you're the one who told me about it.
Those are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they were on sale. So,
got to get them.
Good to grab them. Speaking of things you grab, what's in his hand? It's called RAM. All right, now, this is two 32 gig sticks of GSkill DDR5 5600. We're going for a full 64 here, but in just 2 sticks of RAM. So what is the performance difference in having 2 sticks versus 4?
Yeah, so there is a little bit of performance difference. It's typically better if you use 4 sticks as opposed to 2. Now, that's really, you're going to be, in order to measure that, you need to be running like certain memory tests. I've never really seen it affect FPS in a game, so I would always opt for just 2 sticks, because then you've got 2 more to upgrade on later in the future. I'd rather have the 2 open slots for the future than have to buy a whole new set of RAM just to upgrade a little bit more. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So
I think
This will
next we move on to
fans on the radiator, and then we'll get this mounted. So
the fans.
This
So these are the first 3 of 12 total Gamdias Aeolus M2 RGB fans. And these, of course, are going to be going on our radiator, and they're going to be pushing, or are they going to be pulling?
these are going to be pushing through. So you can either mount your, there's a couple ways you can mount your fans on a radiator. The way we're doing it here is pushing air through. So air is going to come in the side that you're looking at right now, go through the radiator and out the back. If we had these in the same orientation, but on the back, that would be pulling air through. Not as good, but if you're in a spot where you have to do it, it will function fine. It's just always better to push if you can. And then if you've got room in your budget, room in your case, you can always do a push-pull with just fans on both sides. And that does provide really great cooling as well. It's not something you see that often, but you can do it if you wanted to.
There you go. Now, it's interesting because normally you can't fit, like, I have 10 fans in mine, that we basically packed that thing with every possible fan we could stick in it. But this has 12 because this is a much taller case than the O11s. And so
Right.
it has a full 4 stack on that reverse side.
Yeah, we can fit a whole lot of fans in this case, and even the 2 exhaust fans in the rear. This is the first case that I've seen that has that. Typically, it's just a single 120 in the back or a 140. This one, you can have 2.
Nice. And of course, for the people looking in the chat, Atmo2/Thursday Tuesday. THTU. Thursday, Tuesday, 75 people are going to get that code worth 100 entries into the giveaway for that beautiful PC in the back with Atmo Esports and Star Citizen. There we go. Ta-da! All right, looking from the top down. I'm really digging the black and white coloring here. Like,
Oh yeah, we'll put the fans on the trays. Yeah, for sure. So this is typically where we would mount the motherboard into the case, but with this case, we're going to go ahead and mount our fans to our plates here, and then we will put them all into the case after that.
Thank you.
all right. So is it easier for, when it comes to an assembly situation, to have the trays, to be able to just mount them and then mount them freehand, and then be able to take the trays themselves once they're mounted and just lock them into place?
Yeah, it really is. Like you can see as we're about to do here, we can just have our fans screwed in here. We don't have to worry about bumping into the case or reaching in any small area. So we can just slap our fans on here, and then this whole thing will get installed in the case as one piece.
Nice. Get those all put in place.
And I think someone had asked, I missed it before, but I think someone asked if the specs in both builds were the same. And they are actually not. The next one is going to be an AMD build, so kind of cool.
So
Kind
one
of
of
cool the
each.
customer did that.
An
yeah.
AMD with a 4060 Ti
4060
instead of
Ti.
4070. That was about the only difference, other than black and white.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha.
But I do
Nice.
appreciate the solid white, because it was like the motherboard has white aspects to it, the radiator has white, the fans are white, the
Yeah.
case is white, like that.
Yeah, this customer did it right for sure.
I feel like I missed a question somewhere here. I'm scanning through the chat right now. If you put in a question, please, and I missed it, pop it back in there, would you? I feel like I read it when we were talking about something else. Oh, there you go. Legendary Hawk asks, I have a question for CLX. Do you recommend having a RAM fan mounted on the motherboard? Nice.
A RAM fan? I can't say I'd recommend it, but if you got it, by all means use it. That's pretty cool. There was some RAM kits back in the day that like you would
Snapped on.
install your RAM, yeah, and then it would it had a kit that would snap on top of your RAM and have a fan on top. So I mean, it's really cool.
I remember when I was a fan of the Rams.
fan of the Rams. Yeah. Now they back in LA.
Yes. I mean, whoa, Black Betty, Ramba fan. Yes, that is hilarious. Now I'm going to have that song stuck in my head all day. Thanks, Ivory. I truly, truly appreciate it. So the 4-stack is going to be, it's on its own tray as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be this tray right here. You can see me moving around.
Got it.
This one. And this will be standing up in the case, kind of in the back. Whereas the one Zach's working on right now, that's our slanted panel that goes in the bottom.
Getcha. Somebody had asked something about the ease of connecting a 4-pin fan controller to the system, and I can't seem to find where that picture was. I'm trying to look for it and see where it was at. I know that
I've gone fan loco.
I'm gonna keep looking. But if the question was how do you connect them, where does that plug into?
So these fans are all going to plug into their own fan controller. RGB is still kind of like the Wild West with how it's all controlled. Every company has their own control hub with their own connectors. It's kind of frustrating, honestly. It would be nice if there would just be a universal standard for all RGB things. I mean, obviously there's a 3-pin and 4-pin on the motherboard, but it'd be great if they did that for the fans as well. So let me grab one of these controllers, though, and I can show you. So for Gamdias, no, you're good. We've got these controller boxes here. So all of our fans, we can plug 8 fans into this and then 2 LED strips, which I believe we will be putting some in here. So we'll see that used. But since this only has 8 fan ports, we obviously have 12 fans. We're going to have to use 2 of these controllers. And there's a cable that you can connect them to. You can daisy chain them together, and that way they'll all sync up with the same remote. So one remote can control both boxes.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
Maybe we'll see it go away with the new fans that just clip together and it's one fan wire and it won't even be a big deal anymore.
Woohoo!
That would be nice.
Dandy Blur, you are an amazing person. Thank you so much for finding that for me. It was Toomsy. Toomsy asked, is it easy to set up a 4-pin fan controller if you've never done it before? That was the question.
I see. I'm not 100% sure on what you mean by 4-pin fan controller. I'm going to assume it's the RGB 4-pin header. Really, it's not that challenging. RGB, usually there's a female and a male end on those, and you can daisy chain them together really to your heart's content. The only thing to really keep in mind when you're using those is RGB connections on the motherboard like to come out. So, make sure you've got it in there secure. If you've got a 4-pin, you want to make sure you have that plugging into your motherboard in the right direction, because if you have it reversed, it can fry things. We have learned that the hard way here. If you got a 3-pin, there's obviously only one way you can put it in, so that's nice.
The one thing I will say is working on lots of different fans. Gamdias fans are about the only fans that have one cable. So if that's more of the question on working with fans that have a legit fan header cable coming off of them and also an RGB header coming off of them, then you are dealing with like 2 cables compared to just like the one. And that's where it can be a little overwhelming on like tying it up and getting it plugged in right.
I didn't even think about the traditional 3 to 4-pin connector for just regular chassis fans. So if you're just using those, the traditional fan one, that's very easy to plug in. If you don't have enough ports on your motherboard for all those, you can buy fan splitters that will allow you to plug one fan into and power 3 other fans with it. So, and those are relatively cheap.
Okay, and there, this here.
I got fans. I got 2 fans left. Must be for the back.
Those be in the case, yes.
All right.
And that is another one of the unique things about this case, is that instead of one exhaust fan on the rear by the I/O shield, this case comes with 2.
Right, yeah. So you can see in this shot here on the left side. Oh, yeah, right here. We have 2 exhaust fans. So first time I've seen it on here. Pretty cool. So we'll go.
And while this case doesn't technically qualify as a 2/3 kind of case. It's much more of a 1/4, but it's still that same system where the motherboard is raised and separated from the back of the build. So there's room not only for airflow and cooling, but there's also room for your cable management.
Yep, that's right. So you can see obviously where Zach's got our motherboard there. Well, under that, we've got room for cable management and everything on the other side. On the top up here, you might be able to see my hand just a little bit. This is where our power supply is going to go in the top of the case right here. So still kind of same concept where power supply and storage devices, HDDs and 2.5-inch drives are going to be in the back side of the case. And that really just gives it an overall really clean look and then allows the heat from those components to stay out of the main part of the chassis.
Yeah, awesome. Now, one of the nice things, you see the two holes in the back above where the motherboard is, that actually will get covered up by the lower plate that actually has an LED strip of its own on there while it comes down and frames out the rest of the motherboard. One thing I love about this case is the fact that it's got white rubber flanges, the gateways for the cables. It's all very on theme.
Yeah, for sure. They really kind of thought of everything. So, like you mentioned, those two holes that you saw from that overhead shot, that's where our power supply cables are going to come in. So that one on the left there, you can see the CPU power headers right here. So that's where our cables are going to come in. But that cover covers it up and gives you some RGB. I see Toomsy in the chat now. Yeah. We can answer your question a little bit better now.
I agree with what
Toomsy
you're saying.
asks, it's just confusing plugging everything in correctly because I thought a pre-built with stock fans. I bought a pre-built with stock fans and want to replace them with a PWM instead of a DC.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what's a PWM and what's DC?
So PWM is going to stand for pulse width modulation, allows some fan control. I believe DC is probably going to be something like direct current, but where there's not control. If we can actually go to the overhead shot real quick, Jason, I'm going to try to. Can we zoom in at all a little bit, and I'll try to position this a little differently. Okay, so what I'm trying to show you guys here is so this fan header right here, this is probably what Toomsy was referring to. This is our traditional chassis fan 4-pin header. This is the same fan header that I used on my first PC in 2008. So since we have 4 pins here, that fourth pin is what gives us our PWM, which allows that fan speed to change based on some settings. So there are 3-pin headers, and that's probably what Toomsy had starting out, was 3-pin, and he wants them to go to 4-pin. So with that, Toomsy, as long as your header has that 4th pin, you'll be fine to just plug it in. Now if that header only has 3 and the fan has 4, your fan will still function right, but it won't have PWM.
There we go.
Sweet. Thank you, Jason.
There we go.
And now you know.
You just bought one of our PCs off of Amazon? That's awesome, Fat Albert. GG.
Awesome, man.
Well done.
Thank you for that. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Now, Zach, when you put this tray in there, I know there's a special trick to it, and there's a reason why. So walk us through what that is.
So down on the very bottom of the tray, you can just kind of see both of them right there.
Yeah.
Let me get my little pointer. You see the little holes right there and right there. So it's got little feet on the bottom of it that go into those. So if you don't line those up, then the bottom can just slip down. So that has to get put on first. And then when you lay it down flat, you've got this top area up here. Well, if we had all of this hunk of stuff in here, look at how much that fan is covered up, almost half of it. So it kind of makes it a little bit of a chore to get the back 4 in if we already have our radiator and all of our product mounted up top. So just like doing that step first to make life a little bit easier. It is doable if you do accidentally put your radiator in and you don't want to have to unscrew it, you just have a little bit of wiggle room. It's, again, I did that on the first 2, and then I'm like, all right, these 4 are going in 100% first thing every time.
For sure.
Nice. Okay. So we get those cables out there. Now we've got, this is a lot of fans. So how many controllers are going to be required to run all 12 of these?
Yeah, so we will use 2 controllers. We'll have 8 on the first one and the other 4 on the second one. And like I said, we'll daisy chain those together. They'll all be controlled and synced up with the same remote.
Sounds good.
And what we found that's
so-
really cool with this case is that we can have it tied into the case RGB, and this case can program those fans to do all sorts of different stuff that can just all sorts of different settings for different color schemes and all that good stuff.
I was truly amazed when you showed us that. I have a question back for let's see here, for Fat Albert. Which system did you get on Amazon? 'Cause I think we have like 7 different versions of the raw system on Amazon. Do you remember which one you got? I'm kind of excited to hear about this one. And yes, Danny, there are 12 fans in this. So we've got our 3 on the bottom, our 3 on the top. We've got 4 more on the back side, and then we've got our 2 exhaust fans for a total of 12.
Yeah, a whole lot of fans in this one.
It's a popular thing.
Yep.
I don't even have that many fans. Well, let me check the order. All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued. Well, I mean, it depends, because we are dealing with a build that has, you know, a pretty high, you know, it's a high-end processor. It's a 13700 KF. Now, jumping back over to the KF, does the lack of a onboard graphics in the die change the amount of heat that the CPU produces?
So I really haven't seen that big of a difference in temperatures between the KF and the K itself. Now I'm sure if you were using the K and were using the onboard video on it, that would run hotter than the KF, just obviously because it's being utilized a little bit more. But just both of them with a video card in the system, I really haven't noticed a big temperature spike or a big temperature difference between them. There's always a little bit of that silicon lottery with processors where there's a little bit of variance, but yeah, nothing to really notate there.
So Fat Albert got our CLX set gaming desktop with the Intel Core i5-10400F, great processor.
Nice.
It's a 6-core processor, 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, a GTX 1650, and a terabyte SSD. Heck yeah, dude, nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
What games are we going to be playing?
Yeah, good question.
It's going to be joining my guild in WoW Hardcore next Thursday.
There you go.
Hey.
Zroska's kicking. It's you said. Let me see here. Yeah, this is gonna be a 4070.
Yep, this build's got the 4070 in it.
Yep. If you guys want to see the build out, what it looks like, we can give you that link right there. These are build links, and you can actually get build links in. Yeah, you can get the build links when you build out your machine. So there we go. Take that look at our configurator. It makes things real nice.
Is there a spot that he could post pictures of his build when he gets it in?
You can actually in our Discord, discord.gg/CLX Gaming. We actually have a setups area where you can actually show your setup, show your PC build. So when you get it, make sure you throw a picture in there. We love to see what people do with their systems.
We're going to go ahead and get the sound card out here since Zach's plugging in all of our case connections. So they're the audio cable that uses the mic and headset port on the case is going to plug into our sound card. So we're going to go ahead and open this and see where that port is.
Okay. Speaking of our sound card, let's talk about that real quickly. What we've got for this is an ASUS Xonar SE. This is a 5.1 channel, 190 kilohertz, 24-bit surround sound card. What's nice about this is that it has a 300 milliamp boost. I would say not booster, amp on it for your headphones. Really give you that loud, crisp audio without feeling like you're having to overwork your audio.
Very nice.
I have over 500 games picked from my Steam library. Picked from my Steam libraries. Might start off with GTA 5. Well, there we go.
There you go. That's a good one. You don't need any other games if you got GTA 5.
Yep, there's multiple games in one. That is for sure.
Okay, you said you've seen. Ooh, so exceptional, Matt. He says, I've seen other PC build companies glue the cables to the motherboard.
Glue them?
That's one way to do it.
Okay.
Makes it rather permanent. I can't imagine that's going to be easy to pull up once you...
Yeah, I would not do that.
Yeah.
I'd rather use like chewed up bubble gum than glue.
It's free. It's on every railing.
Just voice it up a little bit. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It's a biodegradable adhesive.
Yeah. Yup. Mr. Bioflex, you part of five different servers? Oh my gosh. I'll be honest, the GTA 5 RP is really, really interesting to watch. Everybody's group is different. So. Okay. Working on our cable management. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to play today.
Okay. There's that.
Right.
Destiny's got some good stuff. Still got Diablo to work on.
Fans, then, yeah.
All right. Let's
Now,
go
when
ahead
it comes
and
to the weight of this
rotate
system,
this
Around, whichever way you...
try to give you guys
by the way,
a
I'm
good
very glad
shot.
that you didn't try reaching. I'm glad you didn't try
If that
reaching
works
for the
for you,
frame.
huh?
Like, all right, now we see this large space in the back. So, what are these spaces for back there?
Yeah, so this top right here, this is where our power supply is going to go. Now, obviously, it's not going to take up that whole area, so we've got some other room for some cables. We've got a door that comes on here that we'll put on afterwards. Inside here, this opens up, and this allows for us to take out all the slack in our 24-pin connector. Sorry, I'm kind of messing with Zach while he's doing this. So you can see these posts here. That's for us to wrap around our 24-pin. And then we've just got all sorts of places to put different storage devices back here. I'm not even sure.
It's a first for me with the SSD inside of NV7.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of
actual-
excited at where I'm going to mount that.
Where you're
at.
going to mount it, yeah. I like this tray that's built into this door here, but then you've also
I know.
got
I've got this tray
that
too.
down there.
It's like we got so many options for that thing.
Options for days.
So one thing I will point out that I absolutely love that Phanteks does with all of their cases, at least all the cases I've seen so far, and that is the Velcro, the mounted Velcro on the back to really help the builders when it comes to at least getting all the cable management sorted before they start tying everything up.
Yeah, I really like this, and this is something we've seen Phanteks done for a long time now, even starting with the first like Evolve X's and P400s and whatnot. It's just really, we don't necessarily use those Velcro straps to actually bundle the cables. We bundle the cables with zip ties, but then we use those straps to hold them in place and kind of provide a cover for them, which really helps tidy everything up.
Yeah. Yup. So, and yeah, is that a standard for all of their cases?
Pretty much, yeah. Even their P200, which is their ITX, very small chassis, I think it has one Velcro strap in there just because it's so small, but yep, they do have it.
Let's see here. Dandy Burr asks, NV7 case is a new case, right? Yes. It's only been around since I want to say the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah, it's relatively new.
When did we go there?
Shoot, I don't even
February,
remember.
March?
Feels like last week, but
right?
A few months ago now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's. I guess I probably wouldn't call it too new now, but it's definitely the newer one. It definitely lived up to the hype.
Fluffy Cucumber.
Hey.
Yeah, absolutely agree. What's going on? Okay.
Sorry.
Zach's
My
looking for
bad,
things.
Zach.
All
I'm
the
boarding
right-
the
no,
fans
you're
over
good.
here.
I was thinking of something and just got distracted inside my own brain. I was like, huh?
So this is a great shot to great spot to see. There's my savior who came back and got me with my own ship when I fell out of it. What's up, winner? Here's a great example of the uniqueness of this case, and I've again never seen a case that has two rear exhaust fans.
Yeah, it was definitely a first for me as well with this case. So yeah, you can see Zach putting those in right now. And what's cool with these exhaust fans, so this is 99% of the time, this is how we're going to mount them kind of on the inside of the case. But as long as your fan is the standard width fan, you can put them on the back side. So if you needed that area for like an open loop or just a giant motherboard or something, you could actually mount them still on the back side and the door could still come on and cover them.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend mounting them this way though.
The case don't really know if we have an individual cost for the case. It's always just part of our builds. You can definitely check out our website for it. It is clxgaming.com.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the exact price is on just the case itself, but it is a Phanteks NV7 if you were wanting to see it.
Okay. So we've got 2 fan controllers.
All right. And this is where it gets interesting. So the fan controllers are daisy chained with the fans plugged into them, and the fan controller only has one that needs to connect to that. Is that to the 4-pin, or is that to something different?
So these fans just get plugged in via SATA power. Now there are cables that come with them that tie them to the board, but with what we're doing here is we're going to tie everything into the case since it has such good RGB controls on here. So really all we're going to need is 2 SATA powers, one for each controller box, then everything else kind of plugs into each other and we'll be good to go.
Fat Albert, that is a good question that I definitely do not have an answer to. Yes, can I send my PC back to CLX and switch out the black case to the white case? So Amazon says the case is $220. Nice, there we go.
There you go.
I honestly have no idea, Fat Albert. That is for somebody who's far above my pay grade to answer.
Yeah, I would say you could reach out to our support. You can come in, you can give them a call, or you can reach out over chat on the website if you don't want to be on the phone. You can do that as well and see what they can do for you.
Start at the top, work our way down.
There we go. Getting everything connected. So these fan connectors, if I'm not mistaken, can hold up to 8.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So the way I will do it is this is fan number 1, and then we will go in order in a complete solid circle around the whole system. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Smart.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That means if anything happens, I can just go back and do that little quick count right there and be like, all right, this fan right here is wrong. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fan 7. I go to fan controller number 1, go to the 7th fan. Notice that that's half unplugged, plug it in, boom, fixed. You know?
Here we go.
So just easy way to make life easier for troubleshooting down the road.
Yeah.
If you wanted to put them in a plugged up whatever order you want to, you could. But if something comes up, then you're going to be spending more time cleaning it to figure out what could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
And that to me is like usually when it's like a really basic, like, oh yeah, that was just half unplugged. Man, I wish I would have just.
You're right. Yeah, I wish I would have. I wish I knew exactly which fan that was.
Yeah.
Shoaib asks, why is the downside tilted? So here's the reason. With a standard PC, those bottom fans are blowing straight up. They're providing a lot of fresh air for the graphics card as well as the rest of the system. And so that's one of your best input points. With it angled like this, it means that the air can not only still provide that fresh air to the graphics card, but then it's going to bounce off the glass on the front and create a little bit better turbulent, a little more of a circle. So you've got a little better airflow. Now you've got those 4 fans blowing in from the back, which means it's really going to help bringing both of those up to help that air exit, which gives it a little bit more boost. You're going to keep your radiator a little bit cooler. And of course, being the fact that this is a positive pressure system means you're definitely going to have more coming in than coming out. Now, Paul, why is that important to ensure that to have a positive pressure system?
Yeah, so I always say if you can go positive, do it, because what that does, that means that there's more air coming in, as you just mentioned, DJ, than what's leaving. If it's the opposite way and you have a negative pressure, that would create a vacuum inside your case, and so that would cause dust to get sucked into all the little cracks and crevices. So if you have a positive pressure, it really prevents that, and all the air that's coming in is going through those dust filters. So that's the reason there. Nothing too big to stress on though. If your system's in a negative pressure, by no means do you gotta rearrange your fans to fix that. But if you're building one from the ground up, probably best to go with positive pressure.
Let's see here. And Kenzie, what's going on? She says, shout out Chase and Tristan in support. Will do. Chase and Tristan, thank you so much. Our support team is pretty freaking awesome here.
Yeah, they're a great group of guys. A bunch of them came down to DreamHack in Dallas with us this year, and that was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
We had like a really cool like indoor party the first night. We had Smash going on, Magic going on, got a bunch of pizzas. It was a good time. Good team building.
That is awesome.
Okay.
That is great. Now, as far as this case, when it comes to options for designs, Paul, what do customers have the option to do with this case?
Yeah, so there's a lot of our cases too that you can get our custom print designs or our custom paint designs. You can just go back through our shows too on YouTube or on our VODs and get a look at those, or you can check them out on our website.
I'll be just to 750.
Yeah. And yeah, we can even do customs depending on what you're wanting within reason, so long as it's not a copywritten material.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So if you got a logo or a design you want on there, reach out to our support team and we can get that going for you.
Winter asks which case is that. This is the NV7 by Phanteks, part of a new series of cases that they've come out with as of recent. I believe there's an NV5 and a 9 too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I haven't got my hands on one of those yet.
I'm assuming that the 9 is bigger.
Yeah, I would assume so too, which is kind of wild because this thing is pretty big already.
Okay.
NV7.
Let's do these guys down.
Oh, wow.
This on the top.
Let's take a look and see what they say on their website. Hold on.
My finger.
Scott told my laptop will be $600 to fix. Oh my dear God. I've been debating on if it would just be better to invest in a PC setup. Thoughts? That's an excellent question.
I might even be able to straighten it back out too if we're going to that 2-shot there. Cool.
So it is confirmed that the NV9 is in fact bigger than the NV7, which I could imagine that might be necessary for more of a server-based scenario. I mean, Paul, what would you think would be a reason for having something a little bit larger?
I mean, really, when you're going with a high-end case like this or something larger, I think you're really going for just the overall aesthetic and just you like the way it looks, Like our Phanteks Elites that we sell, those are giant cases.
Yeah,
and we see quite a few sales on those as well. So I think it really is just a customer aesthetic, and then also having that much room in your case just like leaves you open to never have to buy a case again. Like anything can fit in there, which is nice.
Yep. Yeah. The only thing that I would ever consider adding to this back here is probably, I would say, just an audio input card, if anything, for mixing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because comparatively, this thing is a powerhouse.
For sure.
There's nothing else in this house would even come close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. I keep cutting my fingers on my phone. I've got all these little tiny, not like a paper cut. It's not deep, but it's just enough that it, scares me. I put my hand away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nicole's like, what are we burning down here? Welcome to the nightmare. It has a lot of circular air rotation for perfect cooling too. Yeah, it does. Absolutely 100% agree. Everything is on fire.
Okay, you go there. You're coming this way.
Salt and vinegar crisps. That sounds amazing, to be honest. Wait a minute, code. Provide the codes. Or we find you. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody's finding anybody. So it does take a little bit to figure out which one is which, so that you've got them all plugged into the right spot, though.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
That's where Zach's really taken his time here, and like he showed you with the with how he's got his fans numbered and how he's plugging in. It's a lot more time on this prep side, but it saves so much more time down the road and then for troubleshooting. So.
So much writing in the chat. Uh-oh. Nicole says, oh no, I suppose you could throw some water on the fire in the form of Atmo 2-LVQZ. People get on top of it. Love Quasi-Zebra. Looking very quasi-zebra. Yeah. Basically, that's really all I got for this one. LVQZ, get it in there right now. Remember, the prefix is Atmo2-Atmo 2. Is that an unlimited code? What do you mean? Uh-oh. Is it? Is it? Let's see here. Sword and Keyboard says, I bought a Lenovo game PC November of 2021, paid $1,600 cash, and 6 months later, the motherboard bricked. They replaced it, and it bricked again 4 months later. Still sitting here. Still sitting here. Hurts. Don't have funds to get a new one. Wow, that is definitely unfortunate.
That's a bummer. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. If it is an unlimited code, by the way, people, that's 200 entries you get extra, 200 more chances to win that beautiful PC that's in the back corner that is with partnered up with Atmo Esports and of course our friends at Star Citizen. All right, look, Nicole saved the fire.
Kept the trolls at bay.
Saved us from fire. Right? All the yelling.
I love all the Papega emotes. They crack me up.
Right? That's great.
All right.
Where you came from. See you later. I need more zip ties.
What are the specs of the PC in the back? That's a good question. You know, if you type exclamation, give Atmo 2, they'll be all in that link. So let me see here. Boop, 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 boop. So from what I can tell, it looks like this is a CLX Scarab build. The Scarab build has an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D on an ASUS Top Gaming B660M motherboard. It's got 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 RAM plus an RTX 4070, a 2 terabyte Samsung 980 NV2 M.2 NVMe. It's got a 360 closed loop cooler, CLX Quench, and 9 different Aeolus M2 fans in it. Plus, you'll also be getting an Atmo 7 jersey. You'll be getting a Thrustmaster Pedular rudder, that is a great name to get lost on. A Thrustmaster T1600 FCF Space Sim Duo, and of course the Star Citizen Gamer Advantage bundle. So there we go. That is what's inside of that beautiful build right there. Fight or Flight is an upcoming event that's going to be happening inside of Star Citizen. If you haven't gotten it yet, you can check it out over at robertspaceindustriescom or simply Google Star Citizen.
Really, all three of those of 90s? What the?
Uh-oh. 90s, what do you mean?
Looking for our SATA cables here.
And all of my SATAs I've got up front are 90s. I don't need it.
So your SATA cables to plug in your 2.5-inch drive or your 3.5-inch drive that plugs in right here. Typically there's a couple that come with the motherboard. One will have a right angle on the clip that goes in. So we like to avoid using the right angle ones unless it's the right situation for it. It can just be kind of messy.
That way.
Here we go.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, you're not going to go there because you're going to go up there because you're going to go here.
So, Paul, why is he putting the kind of pushing the cables up towards the top?
So we're planning on putting that 2.5-inch drive in that middle area that you can see, that kind of little rectangle cut out on the right side. Our 2.5-inch drive is going to be mounted around there, and it looks like the ports will be up top. So that's why Zach routed that cable that way. We may change that once we get it in here. We'll just see how it goes, though.
It should be fine.
There's so many options in this case. It's kind of nice to not have to commit to anything. We can kind of get everything together, and we like to put it in a way where the cables will look the cleanest.
Yeah, absolutely. Esme's in the house. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Cyber Pat's in here.
Hello,
There
Esme.
we go.
Welcome back.
All right, let's do a.
And of course, this 2.5-inch drive is a 1 terabyte Patriot P210 SATA SSD. So that should be nice and wet. Does that just snap on, or do you have to screw it in?
That literally has foam pads on one side and is held in via foam pads, and then you just put 2 little screws in it.
Yes.
That's cool.
But I don't like it right there.
Okay. Why not?
Because I want to flex
My man.
and show off my 1 terabyte,
I like it like that too.
because that looks way cooler than the other
That
way.
does look cool.
Yeah, to be fair, you're right. That's legit. I love it. Hope you're having a great day too, Esme.
I'm glad that that's being used. Typically,
Yeah.
it's just a
Agreed.
forever alone slot.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, it does need a screw in for the final mount.
Yes, just to hold it in place. It is kind of, it would be loose fit if it was just dangling there.
Yeah.
And SSDs don't rattle around like hard drives, but if we were to go to a LAN party, we're definitely wanting it buttoned down for that. Okay, let me do this. And then...
So we're gonna go back to the front of the case. I'm gonna rotate it around. So we're gonna putting that on right now, Zach.
Yeah.
So this AIO has an infinity mirror that comes in the cap, so that's what we're gonna be putting on right now.
Hey, can you show us how that connects when it comes to power and things? And I'm asking for... because I want to check mine.
Yeah.
I just want to see how you do it.
Which way? Okay, so describe...
Connection in the back.
Oh,
so just
connection
where
on the
that
back?
goes.
Okay,
So
cool. Yeah.
So to install it, it's just magnetic, very easy to install. Your hoses can actually move up and down, yeah, as you can see Zach do. So you can kind of move them around to wherever you need. That snaps on, and then this is just the one cable that comes in. So this cable has a male connection and a female connection, and that's so you can daisy chain it in with the RGB.
Okay, but the male connection's all you need to worry about connecting it to. And you just connect it to anything that looks like that?
Pretty much, yeah. Now you can use the female connection as well, which I assume we're going to use the female connection on this, right, Zach?
This is going to
plug it
get
into
plugged
something else
into
in the
the case, and it will all get plugged into the motherboard.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So we're using the female. So that's probably the same on yours, DJ. So
Okay.
most likely you're going to see
will
that
definitely-
female end plugged in anything, and then that male end just bundled up with the cable, not plugged in.
Okay.
Put you on A1.
I think I saw it in the reverse, so I'll flip that around. Fat Albert says, I'm going to a LAN party on the 15th to the 17th of September. Heck yeah.
Hopefully you can
Oh my
take
gosh.
that new PC you're getting.
I was still so jazzed when we were walking around talking to people who are in the LAN area at DreamHack about how the fact that they come from all over the place to meet up with their friends for an entire weekend and just game next to each other instead of always gaming, just online. And it was really cool to see how much they would theme their areas. They'd all get a pod together and decorate it. I just thought that I found that uniquely fun.
Do that first.
So
Yeah, I'll get them both out right now.
So let's talk about the power supply you got there. This is a 750 watt Gamdias Kratos M1 80 plus bronze PSU. So tell us a little bit about this power supply.
So like you just said, it's a 750 watt 80 plus bronze. This is a non-modular power supply. So all of our cables are pre-soldered in. You can see them hanging down there. I'm just getting this new sticker off of it. So we'll get this going. I'm going to also get this video.
Uh-oh. All right, so can they hear me or just can't hear anybody? Okay, so you can hear me. Okay, perfect.
Right,
So to answer Toomsy's question, we have 2 shows a week right now. Who knows? We might do more. But it's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Tuesdays are here on Kick, and Thursdays are over on our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/CLX Gaming TV. So a little bit different in the naming. So there we go. Just you guys can just hear me. No worries. We'll get that figured out in a sec.
We should be back to good now. Let me know if you guys can hear me or not, but I believe we're back to good.
It's back?
Cool.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right, Zach. So we've got our power supply and our
Quick
video
fix.
card out. Video card has one 8-pin connector.
Yeah, let's
You
drop
want
that
to do the
in.
video
Yeah.
card first?
Yeah, might as well.
So we're gonna go ahead and put this video card
Did you
in.
snag those off already?
I
too?
did not snag
Oh,
those off.
okay.
Sometimes, dude, sometimes they're totally invisible.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
even think about
I
it.
will sit there trying to pick a peel and then like start peeling up a legit
The actual
sticker,
sticker,
and like,
yeah.
oh, oops.
Oopsie. Yeah.
Need to remember that for the next one.
So let's talk about that. That is, of course, an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 12 gig card by, I believe you said Gigabyte?
Yes, it is a gigabyte card. So
What are
40.
some unique things about this card?
So really, my favorite thing about it is that it's got a single 8-pin connector for 4070. 4070 is a very powerful card. Only needing one 8-pin is my favorite because one cable, easy, keeps your system looking clean. It's a 3-fan card. It's going to come slightly overclocked from the factory. Honestly, a really good card. 4070 Ti is the card that I'm looking at. I was actually talking with my boss yesterday about it, and we both are kind of settled that that's the card right now. So.
Nice. Now, how does this feel comparatively when it comes to weight to other 40 series cards?
This one is very light, honestly, comparatively. We won't need an anti-sag bracket or anything like that.
Cool.
Lugiani asks, have they solved the problem of Gigabyte damaging the GPU? I'm not even familiar with that, but I'll throw that to Paul. He probably knows more.
Yeah, so I believe that had to do with Gigabyte's power supplies, and there was an issue from Gigabyte's factory there a while back. Now, we obviously had a lot of those power supplies, and we did see some of those issues too. Luckily, we've got a good relationship with Gigabyte. They were able to swap us out and get us taken care of. And from what I've seen, at least on all the newer Gigabyte power supplies that we've got, the system has been resolved, or the issue has been resolved. So
Nice. Nice.
I think Gigabyte honestly handled that pretty well. For that was kind of a catastrophic thing that they were going through with their power supplies. So
Salud from Italy.
Hi.
Salud. How are you? Welcome in. Glad to have you here.
I'm gonna rotate this real quick.
These are
Zach,
interesting streams. Oh yeah. We our goal here is to create an educational opportunity to allow people not only to just be able to see how it's done, but also to ask questions. There's a lot of PC enthusiasts who love to build their own systems, who love to tinker. I'll be honest, my last gaming PC was a pre-built that I bought, and then I kind of Frankensteined it inside. So, being able to have a functional, comprehensive understanding of just the basics is really important, and it makes it easier for everybody else. So, yeah, that's why we're always here to answer questions and just kind of have that conversation. We also love talking about games, like wild stuff. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, getting that power supply mounted in there. Now, did we already cover the different types of power supplies?
No, I don't believe we did. So
Let's talk about that real quick.
yeah, so I mentioned when I was showing this power supply, this is a non-modular power supply. And what that means is all the power cables are soldered into this. So you can see them right here. So basically, we'll go through these, plug in what we need, and what we don't need, we'll bundle up and zip tie and tuck them away. There are modular design power supplies and semi-modular. So a fully modular has no cables soldered in. There's just ports, and you just like the cables come with the power supply, and you just plug in what you need. Really like fully modular power supplies. They make it so you don't have any extra cables and just gives you a cleaner look. Semi-modular would be like, it usually has your motherboard 24 pin, a CPU 8 pin, and typically a couple 6+2s for a video card, maybe a single 6+2, and then the rest is modular. So those are fine as well. Semi-modular is kind of a weird category. I would go one or the other. If you're going to go modular, you might as well go fully modular, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm watching him separate things out, which is really interesting to see because it's almost like braiding.
Mm-hmm.
Are you outie, Fat Albert? Much love, dude. Have a good one.
See you, Fat Albert. Thanks for being here. Thanks for buying one of our PCs.
Heck yeah.
There we go. Get that plugged in.
You get pulled back out.
Now, there's two plugs on there. One is for, is there one for data and one for power?
Mm-hmm. Yep, so both are SATA connection. One is SATA data, one is SATA power. So those both have a small L-shaped connector, with our SATA power being quite a bit longer than the SATA data. So the SATA power obviously comes from our power supply, and the SATA data will plug into our motherboard.
Let's do.
Here we go.
I'm gonna do the SSD and the cases on one line, and we'll do the fan controllers on the other line.
I think this is one of the more difficult things for me when it came to building my very first PC, was understanding what plugged into what, and being terrified that if I plugged something into the wrong thing, it would just explode.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely fry your stuff by doing that. What is nice is that the cables are pinned correctly and have little cuts even on the 8 pins. So you shouldn't be able to plug, say, an 8-pin video card connector into an 8-pin CPU plug, even though they look very similar. So that's good. I mean, you can always brute force it in there, and that's not a good time. But really, those are the cables that you get confused the most, are your 8-pin CPU, because that's 2 4s, so a 4+4 for 8, or our 8-pin video card, which is usually a 6+2. So the easy way to tell is, do you got 2 cables with 4-pin, or 1 and 6 and 1 and 2? But when they're together, they look pretty close to the same.
Yeah. Toomsy says, might have to send my PC back and buy a custom one from you guys. Thoughts? I mean,
do it.
Go in my, do it. Go with the configuration that's going to best suit you. Not everybody's going to have the same needs as each other, and sometimes when it comes to a pre-built, and if they don't let you adjust it, then it can be problematic. It makes you have to open it back up. So that does give you the going and getting a custom setup gives you the option of future-proofing your design.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I went with everything that's in this thing. Oh yeah. And that's why I went with everything that's in this thing. This way I am not going to need to upgrade anything on this PC for a very long time. Mm-hmm. The only thing, not even the graphics card. That 3090 is absolutely wild.
But wait, when you do want to upgrade and it is time, what can you do?
That's a good question. What can you do?
Yeah, you just get a hold of us. We'll help you upgrade your PC.
Heck yeah, we
call
will.
Zack.
Yeah, we will. Call CLX. They'll fly me out.
Mm-hmm. Will we? I did travel once with Sabian to a customer. Bought a very high-end open-loop system. We were in Wichita, Kansas, and the customer was in Dallas. It was a close enough drive and a big enough purchase that we went down there and set it up. Turns out,
nice
power supply was bad. But it was a modular power supply, so all we had to do was just unplug everything, take the brick out, put the new brick in, and we were good. It was maybe 5 minutes of work for a 5-hour drive.
But
we had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
That
is the perk
the guy
with
took
modular.
us out and bought us appetizers.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that the power went out, and thank goodness for the UPS that Impulse that he bought last week. So here's a question. How about we describe and tell people what a UPS is and how it can be helpful in your setup?
Yeah, so this customer actually bought 2 UPSs with their system. So they're going to have one on each computer. And what a UPS is, what that stands for, it's not the shipping company. It's an uninterruptible power supply. So essentially the best way I can describe a UPS is think of your typical, power brick, that you plug into the wall, gives you like 6 extra power connectors. Think of that on top of a giant battery. And that's really what it is. It provides surge protection and then allows you to, say you lose power at your house, it'll keep your computer running or whatever's plugged into it running for a small amount of time to allow you to save your work and shut your PC off safely. If you live in an area where there's brownouts and stuff like that and it's an issue, it's definitely a good buy to get one of those.
Yeah. Now, what's the difference? So a surge protector is different than a UPS.
Right. So a surge protector is just basically got a built-in fuse that'll trip if there's too much current going through, and that'll protect everything that's plugged into it, right? But if you lose power, you lose power. So a UPS or an uninterruptible power supply has all that good stuff of a surge protector in it, and then also has a battery to power everything that's plugged into it.
Yeah, I wish to heavens I could remember the name of the company that we met at DreamHack.
I believe it was Furman, right?
Furman's got some.
Yeah, we did a couple computers for them.
Yeah, Furman.
FIRMAN. Yeah, they've got like if you like camping but you also like gaming, you can go buy a generator and you can go sit by the lake and catch fish while you're also fishing in World of Warcraft.
Yep.
Fishing in real life and in the virtual life.
Mm-hmm. So Ultimate Loser brings up, or as we like to call him, Ultimate Winner, says, and if you're putting something like a PC on a UPS, you want a continuous wave model. What does that mean?
There you go. I couldn't tell you, honestly. I'm going to assume that has to do with the power wave and all of that, but honestly, I'm not sure. My knowledge of UPSs is that they're pretty much a battery to keep your computer going so you can shut it down safely, and that's kind of where it ends with me.
They say, don't die. Please don't die.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. That's what that's going to be.
All right.
Oh, no.
How are we doing over there?
So I believe we've got, so what Zach was working on there while we were talking, you could kind of see him messing with this cable in the back as well, was getting our video card cable plugged in. So I'll rotate this here. And so like I mentioned, with this power supply, we kind of have to work with what we got since it's not modular. So the length of these cables can sometimes be an issue in these larger cases. Now the way Zach's got it plugged in here, this looks great. So really not too much of an issue there. So we still got a few more things to tie up and power on, but we're pretty close to there, honestly.
So since we're getting so close, I figured now would be a really good time to take everybody over and let them see how they can order a PC of their own.
Yeah.
Jason. Oh, yes, there we go. At CLXgaming.com, we try and make it as easy as possible for anybody to get the PC of their dreams. They can get it built just the way that they need it. So whether you're shopping for something that's for gaming, music-related, production, video for streaming, it's all right here. You can choose your motherboard, your processor, your RAM, every last little thing. We even have peripherals like capture cards, sound cards, or beacon devices. Like we have the little beacon stream controllers. They're amazing, and it's all available here. You don't have to be an expert, and you don't have to worry, because if you happen to choose things that don't match, that's fine. You see that little green button up there? If you happen to choose, like, say, the wrong RAM for your motherboard, that little green button is going to turn yellow. And when it does that, it's going to give you options. So those options will allow you to fix it. So you have a DDR4 board and a DDR5 selected RAM. It's going to say, okay, you can select one of these boards to work with that RAM, or you can select one of these RAMs to work with that board. Once you solve the problem, it goes back to green. That way you always have everything ready, and it's all compatible when it heads off for testing after it's assembled. But if you're not really looking to, to get your build on your own, we've got plenty of ready-to-ship designs that are already in the system and ready to go. And that's what they're called, ready-to-ship. Multiple different designs that you can continue to customize in the browser. in the store. So if you want to, like, maybe I just want to get something more, upgrade the RAM, sure, we can do that. Easy peasy, no problems. That way you can get yourself started. So for all of your gaming needs, head on over to clxgaming.com. Come say hi, build something amazing. Okay. Great site. Yes, Black Serenade, I thoroughly agree. It's it's the easiest site I've ever used in my life. Can you leave a message for the people assembling it for custom builds? Actually, Chumsy, you can contact customer service about that as well. Our customer service team is bar none one of the best in the industry. Absolutely fantastic group of people. Which is the best GPU between the 4080 and the 7900 XTX? Good question. Good question.
I mean, I would go with the 4080. That 7900 XTX might perform better than the 4080, but I pretty much prefer NVIDIA cards, so that's what I would go with. I just don't test as many Radeon cards as I do NVIDIA, so that card could still be a great card, but I would go NVIDIA.
Yeah. Now, I did mention something that we haven't really talked about yet, and that's what happens to any PC that gets built, whether it's on our show or back in the warehouse. What happens to all of those?
So once the system turns on, this machine, giveaway machines, everything we do here, once it turns on, we boot it in, it goes to our testing integration department, and that's where we boot the system on. We'll get into the BIOS first, make sure our RAM speed's set correctly, any storage devices are showing up, and mess with a couple other settings there. After we've got the BIOS set, that's when we'll load the operating system. If you picked any games on our website, that's where we load those. If you didn't pick any games or any extra stuff, you just get the clean operating system. You don't get anything else. We don't put any bloatware on these machines. After it's loaded, we do a 12-hour stress test on the system. So we've got a few benchmarking softwares that we use, with the main one being 3D Mark. And what that allows us to do is maybe catch a faulty component that allows the system to turn on but causes problems when you're gaming. And that way we can fix that in our shop and make sure that you get a stable system at home.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, what's up? Thanking? Oh, TL the King. Hello. Big fan of your PCs. Saw the stream in the featured section and thought I'd drop a follow. Happy streaming. Thank you so much and welcome to the show. We do this every Tuesday here on Kick. We are on Thursdays over on the Purple platform. But yeah, welcome in. Glad to have you here. We do customer builds, giveaway builds, lots of fun. Lots of fun stuff. So, right? So we're working on the final stages of the cable management.
Mm-hmm.
It was great seeing the CLX PCs in person at PAX East. Yeah. Right? That was so fun being able to take that apart and show people. So for those of you who don't know, we were at PAX East in Boston earlier in the year. And that was when we had a bunch of community members show up. It was great. And I was able to show people the Hawthorne, which I'd only seen built on stream, and I'd played on one, but I hadn't actually gotten a chance to start taking side panels off to show people. And a lot of people just thought it was a regular computer until they realized it was two computers in one case, which was wild. Yeah, this build is absolutely fantastic, to be honest. If you'd like to see the build in the configurator, that's where it is. Just take that link right there. Boop.
Yep, controller one.
Uh-oh.
Man.
And of course, anybody who's in here, if you've got a question, please feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. And as you know, we are definitely... Okay, we are definitely going to be giving out another code today on my streams over on Kick. So that's going to be later on over there.
Nice. Have you decided what you're playing today, DJ?
Honestly, I was trying to decide between, like, I've played Star Citizen multiple times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I need to go catch up on what's going on this week in Destiny 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I might try that. The other thing that I've been really wanting to do is continue with Dying Light 2. But I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to grab Scott Wins and we're going to jump into some D2 and play around on that for a while. So,
nice.
Yes.
That's cool. I always had a good time with Destiny. Do they still have that? It was kind of like a PvP/PvE mode where like you were going against other people, but you were killing a boss, and then one person would get teleported to the enemy's world and try to like kill them. Do they still have that?
Yes.
Mode. I loved that one. A lot of people didn't like it, but I loved it. Gambit. Yeah, that was it.
Gambit is so much fun. Gambit is so much fun. So when it comes to any type of PvP, I like the PvPvE because it's not, you're still running against the system, but you can interact with each other. I actually completed a task where I had to get 5 Guardian kills. So we did it in Gambit, and I went over there and slaughtered a team. And I felt, and listen, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a terrible gamer. And I was so shocked that I actually was able to accomplish that. I felt special, truly special. Crash got him. Let's see here. Is an AMD Radeon RX 6600 XT a good card? That's what I have. Did I get my money's worth?
I mean, as long as you didn't overpay for it, that's a pretty mid-tier card. Definitely not bad. Good for 1080 gaming or 1080p gaming, stuff like that. So as long as you didn't overpay for it, you know, I'm sure you'll get your money's worth out of it. Unless you bought it in the middle of the COVID, which was just a rough time.
Yeah.
To buy a video card.
Toomsy asks, what's your favorite game right now? I'm going to be honest, I have found myself playing a lot of, that's going to be between Destiny 2, Rainbow Six Siege. Oh, I want to go play some Siege too. Rainbow Six Siege, Destiny 2, Dying Light 2, and now Star Citizen.
Nice.
Plus Diablo. Diablo 4.
That's a lot.
Still slowly getting, I've got more games that I have not finished than I can shake a stick at. Like, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But welcome to the life of the game of a streamer. We get started, and then something else shiny comes. Like, oh, neat, let's try that, and then you never get it. But I have multiple games that I have not completed.
Yeah.
Dead Island is the other one. We've been doing. We just beat Dead Island 2, which was great. Esoteric. What? My favorite game is Atmo 2-IBHY. That's the International Ballistic Highway. Yes. Which is good for 200 people. That's an unlimited code. No, it's not unlimited. It's 100. It's a 100 entry code for 200 people. That's actually awesome. Let's go. Oh. So, just getting to the final steps now. Let's see, coming back up in here. D4 Desperages. Farlight 84, nice. What GPU? Yeah, also that's a good question, Ultimate Loser. DJ Staples, what's up, fellow DJ? How's it going? You love Destiny as well? All right. So, it happens.
I promise, guys. I promise.
It happens.
Most days I work on computers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some days I try to work on my brain, and it's too much.
I've been getting down on Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
Street Fighter, man, I'm so bad at those. It's ridiculous.
It takes a lot of like.
You
gotta
playing
spend
a
lot of
controller,
time in the lab.
or you playing a
Yeah,
fight stick?
I'm playing on a controller. I've never got used to the fight stick, so playing on an Xbox controller, doing classic because if you're playing on modern, I won't say anything, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's there to bring new people in. But learn to play on classic, guys. Come on.
Can you hold the table? Can you
but
hold the table?
yeah, but yeah, it's you got to spend a lot of time in the lab practicing inputs because like that's where I'm at is like just trying to get your inputs correct.
The button combos are nuts, and they're so involved in that sense of the back and forth, and that's the thing that I had to really try and focus on, especially like when you think about. Well, Street Fighter is all similar to like Mortal Kombat.
You're good.
Mortal Kombat and things like that. It's just one of those kind of like, all right, how is that going to work out? And having to really do that is always just kind of interesting. Now, one thing to point out on the back with this perspective here, which is great, I really love the aesthetics of the rear screens. So it's also got its own rear filtration process. Paul, what? Show us that, yeah.
Yeah, right here.
So very,
This is,
very fine mesh.
Yeah, very fine mesh for our intake fans on the bottom here. Very easy to take out. There's obviously a tray that slides into. You just put it in there like that. No big deal. So.
Yep. So yeah, this fine mesh, it might look like it would impede the air, but actually the airflow is so perfectly done there. It's actually great. I'm excited for the new Mortal Kombat. Reptile looks insane. Yeah, no kidding. I'm excited to lose at the new Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat was one I couldn't get into. I got into Street Fighter 5, and that was like the first fighting game that I ever really tried.
Soul
and like
Calibur.
got decent at. So that's kind of the only one I know. Yeah, Soul Calibur was sick.
I
Back in the day.
prefer Soul Cal. If I was at the arcades, I played MK.
Yeah.
Because that was, every
That's what was
every
there.
cabinet or every arcade had a cabinet.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to go back to classic arcades that are also in the future that have like the big VR
Yeah.
treadmill type
Remember like
things.
Virtual One?
Yeah.
It was like the two mech warrior fighting games that were next to each other. That was
Yep.
Oh, that was so
Yep.
cool.
That's
wild.
because like you go into like David Buster's or Round One, they have like just a roller coaster VR ride. Like I kind of want to
Right.
Yeah.
play VR if I'm playing VR.
We had when we got to demo that kind of stuff at Microsoft for different for some different elements, and it was really fun because, well, I kind of got over my fear of heights because of VR. There's a game that you got with the original Aeolus, and basically you're fighting this giant robot, and it was fun. It was a fun way to get used to things, right? And it used the warp system, so you'd be standing there and you just push you'd see the circle go where you want to go, and you'd appear there for its movement. So there was one mission on top of the building, and once you get all the enemies cleared, you're just there. You can go to the next point, but it doesn't start you until you get over there. So it has this giant glass awning that you can walk out on, and you're 30 stories in the air. So I literally had to sit down on the floor and just kind of look down and scoot over, and people were like, what the heck are you doing? And I'm like, I'm getting over my fear of heights using virtual reality, and finally got to the point where I could walk onto it and be okay. And now when I'm at the top of a parking garage, I can look over the side and not feel like I'm going to die. So, anybody remember Gundam Fighter? Good question.
Yeah. Mechs are
Let's
just
see here.
the coolest thing. They still
Armor
are.
Core 6.
Yeah,
it's
Armored
on the
Core.
it's on the horizon.
Let's see here. There we go. Now, we're working to get that just perfect angled. And then we're going to jump back into the final stages of this now. Who wants to explain what we're about to see?
So we've got our power plugged in, and time to fire it up.
Okay. Moment of truth, people. Here we go. Woo! Look at that. Look at that. All right. We do have
Two
So we've
fans.
got
Two
two
fans.
here that aren't on, so that will give us an opportunity to troubleshoot a little bit,
7, 8.
okay.
and we can take this thing further apart and everything, and we can walk through that after our break here.
Okay, no problem. So let's go back in. We'll talk about one more time about what's inside this incredible PC from Michael in North Carolina. This is built inside of a Phanteks Raw NV7 full white tower. This is an Intel Core i7-13700KF processor mounted in an ASUS Prime Z690A motherboard. It has 64 gigs of GSkill DDR5 5600 memory, and of course, that graphics card is a GeForce RTX 4070 12 gig by Gigabyte. Our operating system is installed installed on a 2 terabyte Kingston NVMe M.2, and of course, it also has a secondary storage that's a 1 terabyte, 2.5-inch Patriot P210 hard drive. Our cooling system is a Phanteks Glacier One 360 RGB AIO, and of course, 12 Gamdias Aeolus ARGB fans, along with a sound card by ASUS. It's called a Xonar, and it's all being powered by a 750 watt Gamdias Kratos M1 power supply. So there we go. Now, for those of you who haven't been here before, we do the show in 2 different stages. So in just a few, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you're going to spend the afternoon with Zack building more PCs, which is absolutely, it's going to be a lot of fun. So don't forget, and of course, I'm going to be having my stream here shortly, and that will be another place for you to get more codes for more entries into that great PC giveaway for our combo PC with Atmo and, of course, Star Citizen. So, with that being said, if you keep up on all the latest and greatest for everything social media and all of our shows, head on over and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at CLX Gaming. You can also join a PC enthusiast community like no other, and that's at discord.gg/CLX Gaming. Our show is here on Tuesdays. Our shows are on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific, Tuesdays here on Kick, Thursdays over on Twitch, and then you can always find us. It'll be great. So on behalf of everyone in production, Jason and Kyle, with Paul and Zach, I'm DJ BluePDX. Don't go away. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Bye, everybody. Thanks
Bye.
for watching.